5 games on an action-packed match of the day 2 tonight. We'll also have all of the goals from yesterday. Alan Shearer and Leon Osman are with us. Now, a recent upturn in form has seen Liverpool in contention for a European place. They face Tottenham, who, despite their recent troubles, began the day in 5th. Your commentator, Mark Scott.
But from a development point of view, a lot of things to love about the game and a lot of things not to like. And that's my life. But I like the good parts that much that I have my feeling that we can sort the other stuff. We can sort, and what we have to do, and then let's keep going.
Listen, we were the team that created the better chances throughout the game. We looked like scoring every time we had the ball, but to give a team like this 4 goals, or to give any team 4 goals, it makes it impossible to win games of football. But to concede a goal in the last couple of minutes to a player that shouldn't have been on the pitch, it makes it tough to take.
It's not a great tackle, obviously. I also touched the ball. I also think he gets his head a bit down, and it's just brave from him. And unfortunately, that was a foot in the face, let's say like that. But I saw the ref could see as well that I didn't meant it.
I can accept mistakes. That's part of football. But I just feel like this one is. It's hard to really justify anything but a red card.
Ryan has to worry about other stuff. They're such a good football team, Tottenham. They have to play better football. They cannot only counter-attack. That's great quality, but they have to play better football. So with that team, sorry to say, but it's now really talking about the red card. Diogo has the foot high, yes, but he's not going for the head. It's not. And I heard now Skip could have had a red card in the first half. Did he speak about that as well, Ryan Mason? I forgot that. So again, I understand 100% disappointment. I'm disappointed with a lot of things, but one thing, Diogo Jota off the pitch, and he should worry about other stuff.
It was a fantastic game, which we'll come on to in a moment, but both managers were frustrated, shall we say, at best, at the end of that game because of the decisions. Let's deal with the 2 of them then, and then we'll get on to the game. Red card for Diogo Jota. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it was, actually. I think it was a dangerous tackle. I think in the modern age of endangering the opponent, I think you can't argue that his foot is high. You know, Skip maybe comes down slightly, but not an awful lot. I think he has a moment to pull out if he really wanted to. And I think that was a red card.
Yeah, I agree. In today's game, that's endangering an opponent, and I think he was fortunate not to get a red card there.
And this one?
I think it perhaps is a foul and a yellow card. I know he wins the ball first, but he does follow through and he is high. But I think that should have been a foul and a yellow card.
We could have seen a red given for that. We have seen reds given for similar.
Absolutely. I don't think it would have been overruled had that been given on the field as a red card. It was, you know, that borderline. I think the fact he touched the ball saved him, but again, in the modern age of endangering the opponent, that was a naughty one.
On to the game itself, which was strange at times, wasn't it? But not for the first time this season. Tottenham have conceded, well, not for the first time in 7 days, actually. Yeah. Tottenham have conceded goals early on.
For the first 15 or 20 minutes, I don't think they had a clue what they were trying to do. They didn't know whether to press, whether to sit, try and be compact. You've got the 3 players there, the 3 forwards pressing there. But what's the point? Because Fabinho's free. If you're going to go, if those 3 are going to go, they're going to have to be backed up by one of those 2 to go and press him in there. So the 3 of them have gone, and the midfielders are not backing them up. Too easy, and they're out. And that was very early on in the game. No pressure on the ball. You can't give Liverpool and particularly their forward players this amount of time on the ball. Look at the 2 centre-halves where he is there. Not once is there anyone within 5 or 10 yards of him. There's 3 centre-halves there, for goodness sake. One of them has to get tight. One of them has to mark. And again, you get rolled back. Look at the space that Liverpool have got. Quality ball in. Space at the back. Porro not picking anyone up. And a good finish. Harry decides to go again, pressing from the front. And again, if you're going to do it, then you have to do it properly. Romero doesn't get tight at all because that ball he knows is about to come in there. And with 2 passes, thank you very much. Very good from Liverpool, but far, far too easy. And they got punished. I mean, look, there's your 3 centre-halves. They are all over the place. So I don't know what they're trying to do at all, whether they're going to press as a team. He could have passed it. He chose not to. Or they're going in individuals. And at this level, particularly at Anfield against Liverpool, you're going to get picked off. Just watch Harry Kane and his body language here. Now, he's shutting that angle off to the right. So he's saying, I want you to pass down the middle, through the alley to the Liverpool players, because that's where we should be. Are they there? No, he's got no backup whatsoever, and within 2 passes, thank you very much, Liverpool are out. And they were hopeless in the first 20 minutes, like they were against Newcastle last weekend, and like they were against Manchester United in the first half, and they've been punished.
Which is where the majority of those 13 goals they've conceded in the first 15
minutes. I just didn't know what their plan was, and they looked very,
and
very
Liverpool
confused.
took advantage. We have to say, Liverpool definitely took advantage.
They punished them, and Liverpool were very, very good, yeah.
There was a tactical tweak, though, that Ryan Mason made that actually helped Tottenham and changed the game, actually.
Yeah, well, he had to do something, as Alan's just showed. Spurs were far too easy to play against. And you see, just as Mo Salah's putting the ball on the spot to take that penalty kick, they have a tactical talk, and they did change things. They went to a midfield 3 and 2 up front playing close together. Kane and Son became a front 2, played a lot closer together. Kulusevski joined a midfield 3, which made it far easier for them to cover the distances defensively, and it allowed the wing-backs to be more advanced and push into much better attacking positions, knowing that the midfield had a better structure behind it. You see here the front 2 working together, the wing-backs on both sides into really advanced positions. Great bit of play from Spurs, one of the first in the game. Give Harry Kane that amount of space and time, he's going to score. And you know, Son, from that central position, the runs he made became so much more dangerous. Spurs, as I said, with the midfield 3, were able to get closer to that Liverpool midfield 3, and then suddenly Kulusevski's runs from deep were into the space in behind the Liverpool defenders, rather than being stood static and being able to pick up again. Son on the end as the last man running through, and you know, it just kept on happening.
The wing backs were higher as well, were they?
Absolutely, the wing backs became much more aggressive with the position, but it was the fact that the midfield were covering distances better. This is the goal. Son and Kane close together. Son playing on the last man, and they got themselves back into the game. And you know, it was a great comeback. They got themselves into a wonderful position, and yet still managed to blow it.
There were some strange comments from Jurgen Klopp in the Sky interview afterwards. Klopp was furious that Liverpool didn't get a free kick in the build-up to Tottenham's 3rd goal. When Liverpool got their 4th, he then celebrated in the face of the 4th official.
He did.
Paul Tierney booked him, and he said that Tierney said stuff that he wasn't going to repeat, and he thinks Tierney has a problem with Liverpool.
No, well, he could have easily sent Jota off and should have sent him off, which he wasn't too quick to mention. And he was lucky that with the way he went up to the 4th official. We know it's an emotional game. I mean, it was a bonkers game at times, and emotions were running high. But it's not the first time he's done that on the touchline, so he's lucky that he just got a yellow card.
OK.
It's little things. It starts somewhere. You're 3-0 up. It looks like pretty easy, everything, and then all of a sudden, that leads you always on the wrong path in life and in football. And today we got punished for it, and rightly so. That we got away with it, thanks to Diogo, that he could score that goal. Makes it actually really spectacular. Everybody's probably going home and is buzzing. But I'm the manager of this team and not supporter number 1. I have to mention the other stuff as well. And I told them already. So 3 days' time and go again, better.
Not devastated. I think the reality is the team that created the most chances lost the game. We were the better team for me by an absolute country mile. You can't start Premier League games like that, we know that. But to gift a team like Liverpool 4 goals, it makes it very difficult. Yeah, I mean, it's tough to really put it into words at the moment, but absolutely gutted.
Another brilliant game of Premier League football, which probably explains why these two are just outside the top 4, doesn't it? Because they're defensively not quite good enough and they're a bit inconsistent.
Chaotic,
Yep.
But what a game. I mean, it had everything. 7 goals, yellow cards, debatable red cards, Jurgen Klopp tearing his hamstring. It was just absolutely so emotional, I think, for Jurgen Klopp and I think for Ryan Mason. But you're right, some of the defending was really bad.
When you were watching it, what were you thinking?
I would hate to be a Spurs fan right now, especially the first half. The first half was absolutely diabolical. And look, the first 15 minutes, 3-0 down. You know, the last game, they were 3-0 down after 9 minutes. So it's a little bit of an...
Man United as well.
Yeah. And 2 against Man United. So it's a little bit of an improvement in terms of how long it's taken. But my word, the defending was shocking. So bad.
It's the same
That's Porro, isn't it? Getting sucked in there.
It's Porro and Romero, the same 2 players in the same area. So Liverpool have obviously worked on it. Yeah. And they've seen the goals they've given away against Man United and Newcastle. And Porro gets too tight. He's got no idea To be
who's
fair,
behind
Curtis
him.
Jones is in good form, and congratulations to him getting his goal. He's been in good form lately. But from Tottenham's point of view, you must be prepared from Ryan Mason to give you that team talk where don't give anything away early on. Keep the tight. And then Dyer.
Exactly. Look at Dyer here. He's the closest player to him. That's a terrible reaction. I would expect to see something like that in the 94th, 95th minute or later, extra time. Not at the beginning of the football match. That's unbelievable, and that's one of the main areas that Liverpool targeted it really, really well today.
I love that though. We've all been there with long-term injuries, haven't we?
And then come back and score on a goal.
Yeah.
And at this stage, you are thinking, because of what happened last week at St James's Park, they are so shaky and rocking that anything can happen. Here's Romero. He might have slipped a bit. He's clearly fast.
No, he's reckless. He's just reckless. That's nothing to do with slipping. He's committed himself to going to smash whoever's on the ball next, and he just wants to wipe them out. And he's a oh my gosh, he's a car crash waiting to happen.
Interesting after the fact that Salah missed against Arsenal, missed against Bournemouth.
Went safer there, didn't he?
Yeah, it makes sure it's on target. This is on target, whatever else happens. Look, that's relief, isn't it, there?
Yeah.
I think the strange thing about this game is when Liverpool were 3-0 up, inside 15 minutes, it was, what score is this going to be? And I meant like a 7 or an 8. Tottenham will collapse. They didn't. They showed good character.
Yeah. They actually, once they hadn't collapsed, Tottenham actually played pretty well after that, didn't they?
Yeah, they
once they thought, it's almost like the worst has happened
Liverpool
now.
got complacent.
It's happening again.
And
It was happening. So maybe a bit of relaxation. So it couldn't get any worse for Tottenham, so they play with a little bit more freedom.
No, it could have, and it should have gotten a lot worse. Liverpool took the foot off the gas straight away, straight after they got the 3 goals. And we were sitting watching the game and saying to ourselves, Spurs are here for the taking here. Yeah. All Liverpool need to do is just continue doing what they're doing. Keep moving the ball nice and quickly, moving it side to side, creating the one-on-one situations that they were exploiting literally every single time. But they didn't. They slowed it all down. They were happy with the 3-0. They took their foot off the pedal, gave Spurs a huge opportunity to get back into the game. And once they got the first goal and the second half kicked off, it was almost inevitable that they were going to get the second one.
You saw it in the touches, Mark. And having been a player, you see touches like Andy Robertson where he's switched on early and the passes are crisp, and all of a sudden you get complacent, you take your eye off 1 or 2 passes, and then you start finding white shirts, and all of a sudden they get a tiny little momentum and little opportunities, hitting posts, Alisson making save. And you're right, at 3-0 down, Tottenham have thought, we've got to try something different here, we've got to try and be aggressive. We've got to keep going with this because we're going to get walloped here.
And when you look at the Harry Kane goal, which made it 3-1, Andy Robertson gets sucked in, doesn't he? Instead of keeping his eye on Harry Kane.
Stay with Harry Kane, attach yourself on Kane. And Andy Robertson goes in no man's land, really, because, any player can slip. Virgil van Dijk gets done down the side.
Yeah, but he commits himself.
Who?
Virgil van Dijk
but that's mistake number 1.
Yeah.
Mistake number 2 is Andy Robertson not tracking Harry Kane.
When he's got 3 other defenders that are dealing with Perisic, who's got the ball. Great finish from Harry Kane.
Great, good technique from just saying. Great technique. He'd get over the ball.
You can see it in his eyes, especially in that last clip. Just watch his eyes. He's fixated on the ball. It was absolutely amazing. And then, this is Son. What a pass that is from Romero. Great first touch, by the way, as well. Sets himself.
Great
lovely
collect,
finish.
you say, wasn't it?
It was. And if you look at it here, the way he collects it, his body's opened up and he's almost facing the wrong way. Great technique. And Son is one of those players that have been relatively disappointing this season with everything that he's done early on. But the last couple of games, he looks like we're starting to see the old Son again, which the Spurs fans will be really happy with. Again, great delivery. Richarlison, brave diving header. I think that's his first goal.
In the Premier League. He scored in the Champions League, first Premier League goal.
But defending, look at the defending. Terrible, terrible defending.
That's the soundtrack of Liverpool's season. The last few weeks, they've played really well going forward, Don. But the soundtrack too much of this season has been poor defensive work from Liverpool.
A lot of teams are starting to exploit, we've seen it against Forest the other week, the naivety and the high line of Liverpool, where all you have to do is make sure you put corners in the box, wide free kicks. Nottingham Forest must have put, a dozen long throws in the box and Liverpool couldn't cope.
Just cause carnage.
They never win the first header. No. You're always taught in that scenario. If you're an attacker, if you're Tottenham, if you're Nottingham Forest, and it's a long throw, wide free kick, make first contact, keep the ball alive. Defensive side of it, you're taught, can we get height and distance on the clearance, then you can potentially break. There's something in their rhythm where they're fragile from wide free kicks, corners, and even long throws. That's a worry, because that's basics.
So it's 3-3, and you're thinking Tottenham have got a great point here. Lucas Moura must hate Merseyside because he came on at Everton when they were 1-up, got himself 2 yellow cards, Everton equalised. And here, Jermaine, I have no idea. Well, we know what he's thinking. I'm going to play it back to the goalkeeper. But to play it back centrally.
Oh, do you know what? I would be over the moon if that was an assist.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't have passed it through to Jota any better. He's not aware of his surrounding. He's tried to cushion it to Romero, I think it is. And in a situation like that, you just bring it down. You're under pressure. You've just equalised. 93rd minute, you've just equalised. Bring it under control. Clear it with the second touch, but he doesn't. He tries the cute little first time. I feel for him a little bit because everything that he's been through over the last year or so, especially after everything that he has done for Spurs over the last couple of years, it's tough, isn't it?
If you sort of see that again as a player, and if you're Lucas Moura and you go into the Rolodex of what should I do now in terms of my control, you'd never play that pass. Never. Your options are, if you're confident, you'd go outside of the right foot because you're right foot and then you're putting it on your correct side. When you see it again, Papsar was the correct ball to play. Little cushion pass into midfield, but he's probably got a little bit stressed. He's probably thought, well, I'm going to knock it back to Romero. Then all of a sudden he's got too heavy with his touch and then you just get punished. And Jota, we talked about the strikers Liverpool want, I think, in that scenario. I don't even think it's Mo Salah. No. It's definitely not Nunez at the minute. The one man you want bearing down is Jota, the way he finishes on his left side. He's just so calm. He's never a problem for the manager, whether he's starting on the bench or whether he's on the bench or whether he's starting games, he gets taken off, brought on. And his technique in that situation is first class.
We want to look at something which is a bit of fun, but there's something else here which is not so much fun.
Yeah.
Jurgen Klopp shouldn't run at the fourth official like this.
I don't like the aggressiveness.
No.
And then
he got booked.
But then we started laughing because there's the funny side of it.
He's pulled his hamstring.
Do you know what? It's one of them where I don't think it's a good look.
No.
But I understand that Jurgen Klopp is so emotional. Yeah. And people might say, well, he shouldn't be. He's a manager. He gets paid a lot of money.
The passion shouldn't be a get-out clause.
I know.
For shouting in the fourth official's face like that. I don't know why he was, anyway.
But my youngest boys are 6 and 7 and they play football and I see some antics on the Sunday afternoons and you will get some managers, coaches acting like that towards
we all did it growing up. We all ate what we saw on the telly.
It all filters down, celebrations, tackles, whatever you want to see. So, you sort of don't want to knock his passion, but it wasn't a good look the way he confronted the
tone it down a bit, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Now, Ryan Mason said that it was the clearest red card he'd seen on a football pitch. Mm-hmm. This is Jota with Skip. He clearly didn't mean to do it. That doesn't excuse anything in the sense of intent's not in the law. Do you think that Jota was a bit lucky not to get a red card here?
I do. I think it's dangerous play. I don't think there's any intent in there because Jota doesn't seem like that type of football player, and
But he has surely endangered the safety of the opponent.
He definitely has. And
I don't agree.
You see Skip's face as well. He's got a hole in his head now because of it.
Got a hole in his head?
Oh, so it must be a red card then.
No, it could be, but you could argue that's endangering Skip's safety.
I don't.
There's no intent from Jota, but it's dangerous play.
Yeah.
Well, I think.
But no intent irrelevant.
Well, what saves him? He actually takes the ball. He takes the ball. That saves him.
That doesn't look like it's saving you right now. That's
not a red card.
Look at it. Look at it.
That's not.
You can see where he's facing him. If he was blindside, if he was behind him and he turned around and his foot was up already, then you could.
I think if he'd been sent off, he could have no complaints.
Exactly.
And it wouldn't have been reversed. Maybe it's one of those. The whole endangering the safety of the opponent.
I was with no bias whatsoever. Yeah. I was quite happy with that being a yellow card. I didn't think it was a red.
Necessary, but he was quite strong on the referee, Paul Tierney.
Yes, that had been building for a little while, hadn't it? And you saw in exchanges straight after the game at the final whistle, there was another exchange, and Paul Tierney pretty much didn't listen to it and just walked past him. So that's been bubbling for a while. There's been some history there, and I don't know whether that'll be, sorted, let's say, or whether it'll just be brushed under the carpet. But it feels like there should be something, maybe some communication between the two people, because you don't want a manager feeling that, oh no, a referee's, taking charge of our game here, and you feel as if there's any vendettas or anything else like that against. So it'll be interesting to see how that one plays out.
Let's concentrate on what he was saying about the performance. As you've said, they've no issue at that end of the pitch scoring goals, as we saw. Just at times, defensive organisation, lapses, as he said. They went 3-0 and 3-1 and switched off a bit.
It was funny to hear one manager really proud of his team, the way that they were doing things. And another manager said how good they were. They were almost perfect at the beginning. I don't think that they were perfect. I think they did really well because Tottenham was making mistakes. If not, you cannot find these big gaps when you play 5 at the back. Then after, what I say, Tottenham did well reacting, but for me it's because Liverpool was making some mistakes, crucial mistakes, at the right time, at the end of the first half or something like that. So then, in terms of, I would say again, so if you play 5-3-2, like he was saying at the end, your wing-backs are crucial when you want to attack. If you want to have players really, really high, you create some space in the wide areas, and then with a line of 4, it's very difficult to go there and to stop them receiving the ball and making crosses or whatever. But they didn't do that, not too much. At the end of the game, when they were losing, they reacted. But always, I think, you cannot wait until you are 3-0 down to react. You have to do it early. You have to do it at the beginning of the game. And especially when you have conceded goals in the last games. So then you have to be really strong. And you go to Anfield and you have to be really strong in defense in the first 20 minutes. And what's the opposite? So I will not be really proud of that. I will be really proud of the second part. So I will analyze the reaction of the team was great, was fantastic, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, I will go to the training ground the day after and say, listen, we have done this, that, we have to start working on that.
And you've seen Liverpool push City all the way for years. This year they've fallen below that. They're proving now they can score goals, but they're giving 3 today, 2 against Nottingham Forest in the last game at Anfield. That's an area for concern moving forward.
I think it is. A lot of people wanted to see Trent in the midfield. Me personally, I'm not a massive fan on that. I think he's kind of invading, say, a Henderson or a Fabinho's role. So now he's coming in. I saw Henderson at one point wide right in his position, and I think if you look at a team like Spurs, the first place they're going to highlight is that space that he's left and break out there and get Konate out wide where he doesn't really want to be. He's got the pace to get there and deal with certain situations, but that is kind of where Son gets his goal from, because Trent's a little bit in, he goes offside and then he just comes back on and sneaks in behind Konate, and the ball to him is brilliant and his first touch is fantastic and he puts it in. But I think the midfield area helped with that defence a lot when they was going neck and neck with City. I think Henderson and Fabinho had so much power in their legs that if Trent and Robbo went forward and they couldn't get back, both of those two would just filter across, cover that position until they got back in. But at the minute, that doesn't seem to be working this year. But like you said, they're back free flowing and scoring goals. So there's a lot of positive to take from now going into next season.
Position maintenant. Alors que se passe-t-il? Le buteur Hakim Ziyech est resté au sol.